Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another Q&A with our president, Dr. Mark Walker. Dr. Walker, it's 2021. Happy New Year.
Hallelujah. And it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It is. We've had a wonderful break.
I know we just came through Christmas, which is the official most wonderful time of the year.
That's right.
But the next most wonderful time of the year is coming back to Lee for the spring semester, and that's what we want to talk about. It's good to see you.
You too.
Did you have a good Christmas break and time off?
It was wonderful. It was a wonderful break, and of all the breaks that I've had at Lee in all my years, I think this was my favorite one. It was wonderful. So I hope you did as well, and had some time to relax and see the family.
We sure did, and we hope you did as well. So what do we want to talk about?
We want to talk about the spring semester coming up. So we are reopening, and we've got some good information, some announcements and updates to get you up to speed of where we are for spring 2021.
Yeah, and of course the main thing is we want to direct you to the reopening guide, which is on our website, obviously. So be sure you're reading through that carefully to give you all the details as to how we're opening up. I think some of the more significant things, obviously, is classes start on January 12th. So we'll be doing the hybrid classes as well. Move in for new students is on January 9. I think you block off a time to move in. And then for returning students is January 10. And I think you should be working with your RAs on that. Also, I think what's important, Phil, is our spring break.
Yes.
For the spring semester. We realized in the fall semester that not having that fall break was challenging. But we had to do that, and it was a good thing that we did that, but we don't feel the need to have to not have a spring break for the spring semester. But we are going to do it differently than we've done in the past, in that it will be combined with Easter. It's going to go into that last part of March, first part of April with Easter. So that's when spring break will take place. Now, normally in the spring, we'll have 7 days. Okay, that's usually the spring break, the 5 days, and then the 2 that are usually associated with Easter break. We're still going to have the 7 days, just a little different. As I mentioned, spring break, those 5 days combined with Easter, but then we're going to have 2 personal wellness days throughout the semester for our students. So you'll be getting the 7 days. It's just going to be laid out a little differently. So be sure to look at all of the reentry plans from that guide. It'll give you all the details that you need.
The good news is we're going to have spring break. It's going to be a little later in the semester, and you're going to get these 2 kind of one-off days throughout the semester that'll give you a reprieve. One of the things that we do every spring, and it's hard to believe, it seems like a minute ago, but it's also a long time ago, that we're talking about Lee Day. Lee Day, our large recruitment event of the year, we're going to have Lee Day this year for certain, and those plans are still being made, but we're going to have Lee Day.
April 9 and 10, and I think we learned a lot from last year in that Lee Day can be very successful virtually. Now, optimally, we want it on campus, and if by chance we can't do that, April 9 and 10, we will be able to do that virtually, but we will be having Lee Day. And something I failed to mention as well, Phil, is the global perspectives.
Yes.
All those trips are on right now, and believing fully we're going to be able to complete those. You know, you never know. COVID-19 is still quite fluid, obviously, as everybody realizes. But all those things are in place, and Lee Day being a significant one of those.
So good. So you're getting a sense of our plans for as we open this semester, as we get into the course of the semester, and as we go, these kind of traditional things that are part of the Lee experience. But it's terribly important that we continue to follow the protocols that we've set that made last semester so successful. So Dr. Walker, we want to emphasize those things and remind our students, the Lee family, about what we're doing for those protocols.
Aren't you tired of hearing about COVID-19 protocols? I am too, but you can't grow weary in well-doing.
Yes.
We're going to be opening up with the protocols because COVID-19 is still very real and it's quite strong right now, as we all know. So the protocols will be in place. You'll have the self-check app. You'll have the check temp stations, the social distancing, masks on the move, all those things, limited large gatherings, all those protocols that kept us up and running in the fall, we're going to have in place in the spring semester as well. We have to. That's not the way we want to open,
right,
but it's the way we have to and we need to open. And a lot of that, just like it did in the fall, is going to depend on you. I'm so grateful. In fact, the entire faculty, staff, total administration are so grateful to you, the students, who worked very, very hard to really adhere to the protocols, because that kept us up and running. And we're going to have to do it again like never before. And really, it boils down, if we're going to stay open in the spring, or we're going to have to ever close down at any particular time, really depends on you and us as a community working together to keep the protocols and working with one another to do so. So I'm encouraging you, come back with that mindset. Come back ready to do all that we're asking you to do in carrying out the different protocols, because that kept us up and going. And let me just share, if come the time that we open for classes or open for move-in, if you have any kind of symptoms, we're asking you not to return until you've been tested and you know for sure. You can start classes virtually. If you're quarantined or you're self-isolating, and that time carries into the time that classes start, again, we're asking you to complete that at home. You can get on classes virtually. We'll work with you, but don't return to campus until you know you are clear of any of those things. But Phil, I'm telling you, and you understand this as well as all of us, this is the thing that kept us up and going. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for how everybody responded last semester. I know we got a little COVID fatigued towards the end, but hopefully you're rejuvenated, you're replenished, you're restored. And we're ready to do this, because that's what kept us open last time.
This is the way for us, everyone. You know that. You know that so many people have embraced all these things and done a wonderful job, and we appreciate your cooperation. And the COVID task force continues to meet and continues to evaluate. We met this morning to talk about all the things that are going to ensure your safety and the best university experience possible. So thank you for following all those protocols. We are right now getting ready to start the next semester. It's time to enroll. So many of our returning students who watch this will have already confirmed enrollment. But getting ready for this semester and how our enrollment looks for the spring, Dr. Walker, we want to update everyone about those totals.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited about that, Phil, because our retention rate is tracking with last year's retention rate from fall to spring. And what excites me about that is, if any time that you would expect that rate to drop, it would be from this past fall semester to this spring semester. Yeah. But the fact that we're tracking in the same percentage is just a huge indicator that even though the experience on campus and what we normally have in the classroom is limited and it's a bit awkward, it's still engaging, and it's still important, and we still want it, and we still love it. And I just think it's exciting to know that we are able, with the help of the Lord, to create such an experience here at Lee that our students want to come back and still be a part of that. And so that excites me a great deal, and it excites me about what we could possibly expect come fall 21. Yes. So yeah, it's a great time around here right now.
And so as you know, students, the process requires you getting into Portico and confirming enrollment. All of the folks on campus, our bursar's office, student financial services, financial aid, registrar, our faculty, all of us are eager to serve you as you have questions, getting ready to confirm enrollment for the spring. It's time to do that right now. You know, last semester was a little bit different, and one of the ways it was most different was athletics, Dr. Walker. We didn't have a lot of athletics. We had a little bit at the end when students were getting out with basketball, but we're getting some momentum and have a good plan in place that will be fluid for athletics in the spring.
In the fall, the only sports we were able to have were golf and cross country. Our normal sports of volleyball and soccer, we postponed to the spring. And so we'll be seeing them start up in the spring, Lord willing. And then also for basketball started a little later in the winter than normal, but it did start. It's going to be a limited schedule. And obviously all the COVID-19 protocols are in place and testing all of the athletes for all of these teams. But we'll have some athletics going on, and then the normal spring sports of all that's baseball, softball, tennis, track and field. Am I missing anything there? But all those spring sports, and then you add to that, basketball will be going on right at the front end of that, and then you've got soccer and volleyball that's going to be in the mix of all that. we could have a lot of exciting things happening around here during that time. And of course, again, that's COVID-19, has enabled us to do that based on the testing and the protocols of all that. But we have a lot more to look forward to, I believe, come spring than we did fall. So that's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm a frustrated athlete, so I love all kind of sports, but I love our elite sports. We do it well, we do it with excellence. So you'll be able to see that on virtual. You'll be able to see the live streaming of those events. And then also, we want to encourage our student athletes, because all of our students and staff, in fact, we've been through a lot in the fall. Man, our athletes, they haven't been able to play, so we're excited they're getting a chance to do that. One of the things we're excited about too, Dr. Walker, is the renovation that's going on down at the track and field. We're making great progress there. Those that have been around can see the progress. It's beautiful down there on the track and field complex.
Yeah, the multi-sports complex is looking great. It's coming along nicely. We would wish that the weather would cooperate with us a little more, but it's coming along nicely, and we're hoping by early mid-February that it will be open for use. Now, we're anticipating our track and field teams to actually do some practice, start practice there sometime in January. Even though the facility won't be totally complete, it will be open enough that they can even start using it for practice, which will be a great thing. We're looking, God willing, and COVID-19 permitting, to host actually some Lee Invitational track and field, a couple of those in March and in April. This is an NCAA regulation size track and soccer field. It's exciting, and we're looking forward to that opening up and being able to use that come our spring semester.
Yeah, and when you get back into town, or those who may have been down, that's a construction kind of area down there, some other local things going on, but it's just beautiful, and it's built in the way we always do things at Lee, and we're excited about that update. So thank you, Dr. Walker. Another renovation that happened over the break, we got closed down a little before Thanksgiving started in the PCSU, but we're renovating Chick-fil-A and Starbucks. That renovation is ongoing, and it looks great too.
It does look great, and it's kind of shut down but for that renovation to take place inside, so you really can't get in there. But I've been walking around peeking through the window. It looks awesome. And Starbucks in there, the whole kind of reshifting and remodeling of it, how Chick-fil-A operates. And when we come back and you get back on campus, you're going to love it. Now, it may not be ready to open up when you return to campus, but I think towards the end of January,
yes,
around the January 25 time frame, that should be open for use, and that's going to be a great addition for us, and so we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, so those of you that have a Starbucks addiction, you can now get that fixed right on campus. You don't have to go across town, and many of us have Chick-fil-A as well, so we're so excited about that. It's going to look great and be ready at the end of January.
I'm really concerned because, I love Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, you do?
As much as coffee, as much
Yes.
as I love Starbucks, and we have two.
It's competing.
I don't know. I may be so wired up.
One for each hand. You can carry around one every time, and that's right. So, my wife just puts an IV in every morning of coffee. That's what she does. She loves the Dunkin' too. But
I don't
the good
know.
news is
I may have to start a support group. I don't know, but we'll see.
The good news is you're going to have options for both now, the Dunkin' fans and the Starbucks fans, and we're so excited about that. It is beautiful. The last time we were together, the group of us were together, Dr. Walker, was we packed some graduation boxes right before we got out of it. I don't know if you saw the video on the social media, but it was an energetic time. We want to give just a quick kind of summative kind of thoughts about Fall 20, in particular commencement, how we finished up the semester.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure how to put this.
Oh, right, yeah.
We've become pretty good at packing graduation boxes. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, if we can't have the commencements like we would want to have them and desire to have them, then being able to pack the boxes and put everything in the boxes and send them to you, they're prayed over,
yes,
they're loved over, because we love you that much. And obviously, we did it in December because we weren't able to hold the exercises. But we did have 302, somewhere in that neighborhood, I think it was, graduates.
Yes.
That's undergrad, and that's graduate students. That's DAL. I mean, it's all of our folks. And I guess what that says, Phil, is that, even in this very restricted time in which we're living and having to do what we do here at Lee, students are still achieving, and they're still graduating,
right.
and they're still reaching their goals, and they're still being able to carry out their calling. And I think that's the great thing. I think especially for followers of Christ, a Christ-centered institution, that no matter the adversity we run into, God is able. I could preach right here.
Come on.
How long you folks got? God is able to take us through all of that and still get us to where He wants us to go and what He's calling us to. And we saw that. We saw that all the way back to when this whole thing started last March.
That's right.
When we had to shift virtual only and all the process that we went through, a presidential transition. Students were graduating. Students were going out and getting jobs.
Yes.
Students were still fulfilling their calling. Students were still able to do what God's called them to do. Faculty were able to do. You were able to do what you were called to do, what I'm called to do. And even though we faced that adversity, with the help of God and the commitment we have to one another and the mission He has here at Lee, we're able to get past that, and we're able to do what God's called us to. So
every bit of that's true,
exciting.
and the commencement kind of packing boxes. I would get a box, and I would know the student and feel like I was connected.
Yes.
You'd get down a box, and students had handwritten notes from their faculty and staff and groups and clubs. It was a wonderful event that's representative of how we do things here at Lee. And Dr. Walker, to close our time together, we're starting the semester in just a week or so. But we also want to kind of look towards how we're going to finish and close out this process, close out for some their time at Lee, for some just a semester, but the year, and it's hopefully the COVID pandemic. But talk to us about the closing and finishing what we're starting here together.
Yeah, thank you. We came through the semester we came through in the fall, and I don't want to get morbid here or too somber, but I think a lot of people are saying, I just want to forget 2020. And I understand that. I do too, but I think we can't forget. I think there's things we have to remember. Yes. And I think one of those things is the people that unfortunately we lost in terms, some to COVID-19, out of the Lee family and out of our students' families, lost to COVID-19 or other unfortunate events that took place, and grieving with one another over that and encouraging one another through those losses. I think of our Lee family. I think of quite a few folks that encountered that. And of course, at the end of a very grinding semester, we had the untimely deaths of Naj Roberts and Jabe Wilhoit. And, that was such an impact on such an already very difficult time. But, Phil, we were able to rally together, and we were able to pick one another up and pick up these two families, and we're continuing to pray for both these families and support these families. And I guess what I'm saying to all that is we can do this. Yeah. You can do this. You know how this works now. You've gone through this. You have accomplished more than you ever thought you could accomplish at your young age. You were stretched, and I'm sure you're looking back going, man, I can't believe what I was able to do and what God showed me and where I came from and where I am now. And you can do it again. We know what it takes. We know it takes flexibility. We know it takes patience. We know it takes accountability. We know it takes creativity. We know it takes grit. We know it takes being a community and loving one another and supporting one another. You know that. You can do this. You've done it before. You can do it again. You have what it takes to be here, overcome, and press through to what God's calling you to do. That's the great thing about Lee University, and we are so looking forward to you being back on campus. We miss you greatly, and we're praying for you as you continue to return. For those of you that are sick or quarantining or self-isolating, whatever it may be, we're praying for your healing and you should get well quickly so you can come back and join us and we can be what Lee is.
Well, thank you, Dr. Walker. Thank you for your leadership and your guidance and your vision through this difficult time. We can't wait for you to be back on campus. Students, parents that are watching, thank you for your support. Faculty and staff, all the Lee family, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you on campus very soon.
God bless. Happy New Year.